When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
Oh, I thought the beast had wandered off.
You're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you
infiltrate the beat, concentrate the heat. If you ain't on my level,
when they come,
fuck it, let me
will.
be. I'll be going till it's all in motion, talking killing rappers, then I hit my quota. And my train of thought is more a locomotive, talking reason for it, I got locomotives. Used to be on a revenge tip, on a stun on my ex and a friend's tip. I was Spider-Man whipping the black suit, I was powerful but almost lost Luke. Blurring the line between human and artist, try not to change but I swear it's the hardest. I swear when you're up they turn you to a target. Home was a trip, all I did when I'm talking. So, what it take to be an icon? All in your desktop, so I just might already be one. My me with the label, it feels on the table one sign, but I'm down for a free lunch. Just speaking my heat-seeking missiles of hits, but other than me, I see no heat exist. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, I'm about to go, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go, I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green. I might begin making a feature a rack. Cause when I hit your beat, I turn shit to Iraq. Dropping bombs like I'm cursing you out. This your house, then I'm kicking you out. Quiet as a mouse, came in the game, not a word is out that I've been lighting the flame. Shit is potent, don't you know it? I've been flowing, steady growing till they know the name. Saw it ahead of time, knew that I'd get to my losing myself in the view to some window pane. I swear I'm all about peace, I'm a positive person. Wasn't always like that, you know it took me some learning. They asked me how I push a positive light, how I keep my composure through internal fights when addressing the mic through these dark nights. Where the Bruce Wayne, what a trick me. Here's some truth that I'll let free, Bruce Banner of rap if you ask me. When my will to win and the track meet, the secret is I'm always angry. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, I'm about to go, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go, I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green.
when they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
Oh, I thought the beast had wandered off.
You're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you come out on top.
Let me infiltrate the beat, concentrate the heat. If you ain't on my level, fuck it, let me be. I'll be going till it's all in motion, talking killing rappers, then I hit my quota. And my train of thought is more a locomotive, talking reason for it, I got locomotives. Used to be on a revenge tip, on a stun on my ex and a friend's tip. I was Spider-Man whipping the black suit, I was powerful but almost lost Luke. Blurring the line between human and artist, try not to change but I swear it's the hardest. I swear when you're up they turn you to a target. Home was a trip, all I did when I'm talking. So, what it take to be an icon? All in your desktop, so I just might already be one. My me with the label, it feels on the table one sign, but I'm down for a free lunch. Just speaking my heat-seeking missiles of hits, but other than me, I see no heat exist. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, I'm about to go, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go, I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green. I might begin making a feature a rack. Cause when I hit your beat, I turn shit to Iraq. Dropping bombs like I'm cursing you out. This your house, then I'm kicking you out. Quiet as a mouse, came in the game, not a word is out that I've been lighting the flame. Shit is potent, don't you know it? I've been flowing, steady growing till they know the name. Saw it ahead of time, knew that I'd get to my losing myself in the view to some window pane. I swear I'm all about peace, I'm a positive person. Wasn't always like that, you know it took me some learning. They asked me how I push a positive light, how I keep my composure through internal fights when addressing the mic through these dark nights. Where the Bruce Wayne, what a trick me. Here's some truth that I'll let free, Bruce Banner of rap if you ask me. When my will to win and the track meet, the secret is I'm always angry. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, I'm about to go, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go, I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? Hey, good evening. RicoKnows here. Good to see you guys. We're still working out some tweaks and some things for this show, but I want to start off with my monologue this evening and talk to you guys. Hey, just so you know, okay, I'm about that life. I'm being real. I'm about that business. Today, I felt pretty good. I woke up this morning, I checked my messages, and I had a message on TikTok from Rivals.com. And Rivals was trying to let me know that they were trying to let me know that they got a prediction correct. All the wealth and all the resources that Rivals has, shout out to Rivals.com, been around covering recruiting services for, 25 years? At least 25 years, right? Rivals. Now, the knuckleheads who work there right now haven't been there for 25 years, so don't get it twisted. When you hear, this company's been around this long, they've been doing it this long. No, the individuals at the company have not been doing it this long. And if they have been, they need to be replaced. It's not even a fair fight right now. I can dominate these dudes. If this was a UFC fight, somebody throw in the towel. Because the refs ain't stopping it, and I'm showing no mercy. So the Rivals go and let me know they got Diego Pavia right. And I said, whoa, hold up now. Congratulations. But welcome to RicoKnows. And while I have you here, take this beating. And I went ahead and named like 25 different errors. It's actually 22 in the video, but I want you to know I found 25. 3 of them I failed to add to the video. There's a running back by the name of Armin. He's at NAU. I forgot to do that one. There's 2 more players I forgot to add. There's one that's not in the portal, and I didn't put it in there. That's my fault. But at the end of the day, Rivals ain't built like me. They're not built for this. I'm here to talk sports. I'm here to talk the transfer portal. I'm not here to debate anyone. There is no debating this. I'm second to none. That is a fact. And if there's an individual out there with more knowledge on the transfer portal than me, please contact me. Let me know. I'd love to meet you, bro. I'd like to know what you do with your day-to-day life, because I know what I'm doing every day, all day. And just so you have receipts, I do it on cam. I do it on live stream. There's nothing to fake here. There's no Google. There's no, he's got the answers in front of him. None of this shit, bro. It ain't going to save you. What I got in front of me is an immense amount of work, and it speaks for itself. Now, we're going to talk about the transfer portal tonight. This is Defensive Backs, Episode 2. And if you're new and you don't understand how it works, I do a different position group in every single episode. Okay, and I know that 1,000 of you watch this after hours. After I post it, I apologize for the mic cutting out there. After I post this thing, about hours later, I see it has 1,000 views, 2,000 views, whatever it is. One day, these episodes are going to have 30,000 views. Don't you ever forget it. I started from the bottom, now I'm here. I'm telling you right now, there has to be some type of organization to address every player in the portal. Yes, I want to get out here and talk about Caleb Downs. I want to get out here and talk about every defensive back in the portal that you guys have questions about. But if I've already discussed that player, I'm going to tell you, go back to Episode 1. Because I already talked about it in Episode 1. In my opinion, my assessment, the scenario probably hasn't changed. Now, if it's changed, I'll address it. But I addressed and covered about 63 different corners and safeties, defensive backs, in the first episode. And here we are. We're going to hit another 25 to 30 tonight that I'm going to talk about in depth and give you guys analysis and how I see it. Now, if you're new to my page and you don't understand what I'm doing, understood. But I want you guys to understand something. If I go over here, you can't see it on my screen. I got to show you guys. 1 second. Let me pull this up. I'm going to show you this list here. But if you go to my notifications, you go to my Twitter, RicoKnows TikTok, all one word, on Twitter, my last 3 posts are on defensive backs. And what you'll see are the top 10 defensive backs in the transfer portal. Not in the transfer portal. The top 10 transfer decisions. The guys I think made the right choice and are going to have the right amount of impact on their team. And then if you look over here, the bottom 10. Guys, I'm asking you, what are we doing? Why are we praising this? And why are we ranking it so highly? It should have never happened. And then I also have this last thing I put in here in no particular order. It is the honorable mention. And I really want to point out that some of these guys are going to be good next season. They just couldn't make the top 10. But all of these guys are fringe, right on the edge of top 10. They're worth noting, worth knowing, worth listening to. It's just one of those things. I put in a lot of hard work. Before I ever made this list, I need you guys to understand, I grinded specifically on defensive backs for 12 hours. And I already know the players, and I know the teams, and I still thought about it for 12 hours, assessing before I make a list. You can't just go, hey, Rico, who's your top 5? I don't ever wing it like that. We sit down and we talk about it. Talk about it, be about it. It's all hard work. Nobody's faking anything, okay? I just wanted to let you guys know that first and foremost, okay? So when you watch my videos, they're based on analysis. They're based on information provided, but I have a method to the madness. We got to stay organized. We can't just go out there and freelance and just talk crazy. I never do that. I never give you guys subjective things. For the most part, I try to provide an adequate amount of analysis and information with my answer. I know some people, they don't rock with me, and I hope they're not here. I would never understand anybody watching my stuff and you don't rock with me. I never understand that. So, with that being said, let's start the show. We're going to go ahead and look at the transfer portal defensive backs. I do it a certain way. So when you look at it here, and forgive the scrolling here, I'm just trying to announce to everybody, we got UFC fights on Saturday, by the way. I predict every winner of the UFC. If you didn't know, on the last fight card, I got 7 out of 10 right. 70% right. That's winning for gamblers, if you know what I'm saying. Provided. Get to Patreon. Become an MVP. It's $25 a month. You'll make $25 back on your first fight, and then you'll be up for the whole month. 4 pay-per-views. You can watch them with me. I stream them on the Discord server. Shout out to my Discord fam. But nonetheless, let's talk about these defensive backs. I have it sorted, once again, by enrolled. That means these guys aren't flipping. You hear about these transfers flipping, it's because they're not enrolled yet. These guys are on campus at school. Now, that's a little interesting to me because Earl Little says enrolled, and he just transferred to Florida State yesterday. Now, that's fine, but it's one of those things. So now, let's go down the list and see who we're talking about, and then I'll get to the chat here in a little bit. I intend to get to the chat. If you guys didn't know, pardon me, I'm fixing my chat bars over here. I intend to get to the chat after 10 people. Now, I have to sift through these people because I already talked about some, and that's why I have to pull up my chart to see who did I talk about in the first episode because I don't want to rehash anything. So, Dominique Jackson, if you want to know, Domani Jackson, I apologize, Mater Dei, going to Alabama. In my bottom 10 transfers, because there will be no impact. And let me explain that to you guys real quick, just so I'm clear. I think there's no impact to signing underclassmen in the transfer portal. Let me explain. If you have 3 or 4 years of eligibility left, cool. That's awesome. Shout out to Caleb Downs. Shout out to any underclassman that started as a freshman or a sophomore, and they have 3 years of eligibility left. But if you're a guy like Earl Little or Domani Jackson, you're a 1-year transfer. Everybody's a 1-year transfer at this point. You transfer to a school, you pay them what they're worth, you get them, and they either play for you or they don't. It doesn't matter. They're going to hit the transfer portal next offseason. You got to buy your team every single offseason. That's the reality of the situation. That's what we're learning from every single team. So if you sign an underclassman and he plays well, he's going to leave. There's nothing holding him there. The NCAA can't impose any rules on you. About 5 more states actually entered the lawsuit to stop the NCAA from suing the NCAA from making players ineligible. If you go here to my page, I just posted the story right here. Department of Justice right here. More states have been added to the lawsuit to stop the NCAA from imposing that 1-year ban on undergraduate transfers. Remember, you can transfer once, and then you can't transfer again unless you're a graduate, unless there's hardship, your coach gets fired or hired, right? Those 4. And they decided, you know what? You don't get to ban a player for a year. That's unethical. It's not even unethical. It's un-American. Who says I can't go here? Why aren't you giving me those opportunities, educational opportunities? Why can't I change my circumstance and my surroundings? People always ask me, Rico, how many times can you transfer? Dude, you can transfer 100 times. It's America, bro. If you want to change schools because you get more credits at this school, you do that. Everybody does that. I did it. I was in the military. I was going to Maryland online. I was going to Maryland. I'm in the Army. I'm a first sergeant. I'm busy. I'm at work. And then they said, well, you can transfer to Excelsior, and we'll take 90 of your credits. And I said, you'll take 90? You mean I only got to do 30 more credits? Because I was thinking you guys wouldn't take all 90. They didn't all convert. Well, I was going to this other school. They said, well, you can transfer to Troy. How much is Troy taking? 75. Well, I'm not going to Troy. I am a non-athlete that has the luxury to choose my school based upon conversion rates. Why can't the athletes do that? That's the argument. Why are we sitting out here not allowing the athletes to do what every other student in America can and would do, yourself included? So I need people to understand that you have every right to transfer whenever you want. The NCAA just had this arbitrary rule where they said, hey, if you transferred twice as an undergraduate, you got to sit out the second year. That's nuts. That's not happening. So now a judge said, you guys can't impose that. That doesn't fly over here. And now more states are joining that, and they're challenging that. And eventually that rule is going to be – now the NCAA – let me dial it back a bit. The NCAA has agreed they will not impose that rule. They don't have the right to impose that rule. There's an injunction. They can't do it for the next they can't do it to anybody this cycle. So everybody went free for all. That's why you see all these guys transferring again. That's why you see repeat transfers that are non-graduates. That's why you're seeing it. Very normal. Everybody just jumped up and said, oh, I can bounce? I can bounce? I had players contact me immediately. Now, I don't want to say their names because I talked both of them out of it. But I had two very prominent running backs from very prominent schools reach out to me and say, Rico, is this true? Can I do it? They called me on my cell phone. I said, guys, don't do it. Don't do it. And shout out to them. They adhered to the guidance, and they're still at their current schools. One of them is slated to start this year. He didn't start last year. And then the other one is a straight-up, bona fide, over 1,000-yard rusher at his school. And I'm sure they're grateful to still have him. Even though all his teammates are jumping in the portal, he's just, hey, I'm chill. Shout out to him. But nonetheless, that's what happened today. If you want to know what's going on in the world of sports, follow my Twitter. RicoKnows TikTok, all one word. I'm just letting you know. So back to the transfer portal here. This is why I don't value underclassmen, though. If you're an underclassman and you're not in the too deep and you're not on the field, you're no added value to my team because I have to fight to somehow recruit you next year. And you're probably not going to ever play for my team. So the impact of that transfer is zero. It's zero. I want you to think of, we can go down this list and see who transferred twice. Well, it's probably not going to be on the enrolled list, but it can definitely be on another list. But Denver Harris is a prime example. Denver Harris leaving, not LT Overton, he will be next year when he transfers again. But Denver Harris is the prime one for me. But it's when people leave, I'm just looking at these names real quick, and we'll see if another one pops out at me. You transferred once, you transferred twice, just because they got excited when they got you the first time, and you rolled the hell out. Yeah, the only one I see on this list, the only one I can think of right now is Denver Harris, but there's many. Countless. And a lot of these guys are going to be on that list here shortly. So, looking at Damani Jackson, doesn't impress me. Going to Alabama, yes, they lost 7 defensive backs in the portal, 5 in the portal, and then 2 to graduation or 2 to the NFL. And so they do need some defensive backs, but I don't think Damani's any better than anybody on that roster. And I think they're going to bring in guys to challenge him. If you can't start at USC, you can't start at Alabama. How about that for a rule? How about that for a rule? So, just keeping it real. Earl Little II, Alabama to Florida State. Another one where I say to myself, what are you doing? I get it. Earl Little, American Heritage, Florida. This is where he went to high school. His coach was Pat Surtain. That's the defensive backs coach at Florida State. It makes sense. Go link up with your coach. Go do all those great things. They said he's the next Tyrann Mathieu. Well, he's been injured for years, hasn't done a damn thing. He and Marvin Jones Jr. went to the same high school. So they're back, their teammates teaming up. But Earl Little, if you ask me in my assessment, when I look at Florida State DBs, he's about the 6th best one. At best, he's number 6 on the defensive back depth chart. Among corners and safeties, let's combine them all. He's about 6th or 7th, probably. There's no way he's comparable to Fentrell Cypress, Greedy Vance, Thomas. You got Devontae Brown coming in from Miami. Like, that's 4 right there that this guy cannot touch with. He's going to be competing with some other people who are healthy. He had a hamstring issue his first year. He didn't do much this year. I think he had 2 tackles this year in 8 games. If you can't play at Alabama, you can't play at Florida State. So now you transfer in, and you're all potential. Look at this. Well, look where they rank these guys. They rank these guys because they're young and filled with a ton of potential. They're not ranked by ability. They're not ranked by how good they are on the field. Not even close. They're ranked by how many years they have remaining and how many stars they got in high school. And they go out and they do this assessment as transfers, and they get it wrong every time. And that's why I demolished Rivals. And if anybody at 24/7 Sports watching this video right now, get this podcast to them. Let them know, hey, I want to see you. I had a writer from 24/7 Sports reach out to me last year. Homie got embarrassed. I ain't heard from him since. Crickets. 24/7, reach out, bro. I can QA/QC your entire website. Obviously not for free, but I will quality assurance, quality control your entire website. I will create streamlined processes to ensure you don't have these errors, because you guys got errors for days. For days. Last year, 24/7 had a dude in the transfer portal for the entire season. The entire offseason. He was deceased. That's right, he died. And they still had him like he was still in the portal. In spring, I got people, Rico, why don't we sign this guy from New Mexico? Why don't we sign this guy? And I'm like, what? He was deceased. 24/7 doesn't care. I made a video about it. See me. Anyways, not the top guys out there. I actually have Earl Little in my bottom 10. This is a bottom 10 move. Going where you're comfortable, following your high school coach, following high school friends, but you can't see the field. You can't see the field. I don't know what you're doing. You're from American Heritage. Transfer your ass to FAU, FIU, maybe Miami, maybe. You see the field. South Florida. Pick a Florida school. I don't care. But these schools, you can't play at these schools. They lied to you. They got you gassed, bro. Oh, but I got another offer. Yeah, because your high school coach is on the damn team. This is not a good move. Keenan Johnson leaving Georgia Tech, going to Utah. I talked about him in the first episode. Not going to talk about him here. Bridges talked about him in the first episode. Christian Story leaving Alabama, going to Kentucky. What are we doing? This one's worse than Earl Little. This one's worse. You're 6'1", 211. You're a safety at Alabama. And 3 years, you've been on special teams, all 3 years. Never once got on the field. This is a guy who was a quarterback in high school, played at the 1A level, and never really proved that he could play. He was a quarterback. So he had to adjust. I watched his tape today. He doesn't look fast twitch. He doesn't look like he can react to anything. You're going to Kentucky. I hope you can start. I don't know what it is. He just doesn't have what I'm looking for. Oh, another thing on his tape. I'm going to tell you this right now. Y'all say what you want to say. But I saw his tape. After every play, extra antics. These little, and I saw it in Bradford's tape, the running back from LSU who just went to North Texas, and I think it's the worst signing in the portal. Bradford's just a terrible person. I think he's been kicked out of school 3 times, no grades, and some other things. Character concerns. I'd say Christian Story just doesn't act right, man. He just doesn't do what he needs to do. Now, I got it. He was Mr. Alabama in football back in 2019. Played at 1A football. Come on. Yeah, you killed everybody. Cool. Oh, by the way, these two right here, Bridges and Story, went to the same high school. They went to the same high school. This is why they're ranked the same, bro. These guys just rank anybody from Lynette. Like, this is what they're doing. This is what we're doing now. Now, they didn't play together, but they played at the same high school. They're from the same spot. I don't like it. Cool beans. Think it's a bad move to Kentucky. I don't see how can you play at Kentucky? You couldn't play at Bama, but you can magically play at Kentucky. Is that what you think? The gap isn't that big. Nope. Jordan Shaw, leaving Indiana, going to Arizona. I think I talked about this in the first episode. I did. It's a favor to a recruiter that he used to know. I don't think it's a good fit at all. Just so we're clear. Fontenot, another bad one, but I already talked about it, so we'll keep it moving. Who's next? TJ Crandall. And it's not terrible. It's just underwhelming. TJ Crandall, 6'1", 185, leaving Colorado State, going to West Virginia. He was at Colorado State for 1 year. 1 year. He played, and he did well. 19 tackles, an interception. I just don't know what warrants going to West Virginia from the group of 5. Like, I saw him on the tape. It's Colorado State. I'm like, all right, I'm watching his tape. I've watched him all season. He looks good. Stay at Colorado State and keep him being developed. Going to West Virginia? Replacing Beanie Bishop? Replacing Anthony Wilson? Like, what are you doing? You're not built like that. I think he's added depth, and you guys know how I feel about underclassmen showing up. You're going to have to pay for this guy again, just like Tommy Wadurage. Let me give you that example right there. Tommy Wadurage left Kentucky, went to West Virginia this year as a freshman, played pretty damn good, and you thought you got yourself a good kid for the next 3 years, just like you think you got a good kid with all these guys for the next 3 years, but you didn't. Tommy Wadurage just left to Florida State. So how good was that signing at West Virginia? It's not. There's no impact there because he's not going to stay. This is what people don't understand. These kids aren't going to stay. I already talked about everybody else here in the first episode. Shout out to Aiden Garnes. He's in my top 10, just so you know. Is this everybody? This can't be right. This looks like top. This looks like the top dudes. This is position enrolled. That's everybody who's enrolled right now? Let me double check. No. Something's up. Why doesn't it say load more? It should say load more. Let me see something. It should say this right here. Look at that. This is how long I've been on this website. I know when the link's missing, bro. But that's committed. Let's go back. Status, enrolled. By position, not top. Let's go to position. They got enrolled and committed here. I apologize. Technical difficulties. This should not be happening. Well on cam. There we go. There we go. Defensive backs. Enrolled. Story's there. Kilgore's there. Crandall's there. Jaron Thompson. Leaving Texas, going to Auburn. What a stud. Okay. I want to tell you, he only has 1 year left. Been playing for like 4 years. Playing over 40 games. 10 games a season. I think he's good. I think as long as he's healthy. As long as he's healthy, he's good. 82 tackles, 1 interception, 7 pass breakups back in 2022. I think he's a good player, and Auburn found themselves a stud. Underrated signing right here. Like this move. Shout out to Jaron Thompson. How many more players I got left? Sean Osbury, one of my top 10 guys. So is Jaron Thompson, by the way. He was number 9. Number 4 on my list is Sean Osbury. The only reason he's a 3-star kid and went to ODU is because he's 5'9". 5'8", 5'9", 192. Sean Osbury, for me, one of the better guys I've seen on tape. I'm telling you, he looks kind of short, obviously, and he was second-team All-State in high school, but, man, he's out there just balling. Go turn on his tape. The first play on his highlight tape, on his huddle, is a punt return, and he looks like Dante Hall. He's all over the place. I'm telling you, he makes everybody look silly. He has another return. He just looks dynamite with the ball in his hands. Now, he's obviously moved to secondary, moved to safety. But when he gets the ball, he's great. Now, I know he doesn't have the ball every play. He's not a receiver anymore. But this year, if you guys needed to know, Sean Osbury, 93 tackles. That's not to be played with. You see how he's ranked down here? 93 tackles. This guy's all conference, going to be at Indiana now, followed Kurt Signetti to Indiana. This man has 93 tackles in one season. What are we doing? How are we ranking him below defensive backs who have never seen the field? Who, if they transferred to ODU in Indiana, would not get 90 tackles. Would not be as impactful. Like, we got to stop playing this game, man. We got to stop it. That's why you guys miss on people in the draft. Why you guys miss on these people out here. It's because, like, you just don't know how productive these guys are. This young man followed his coach. He's going to Indiana, and he's going to ball out in the Big Ten. I'm telling you, I like Indiana's team. I like them a lot. I can't wait to see what the over-under is on Indiana wins and losses for next season. I can't wait. I want to sit down and figure it out because with everything I've seen, Indiana looks like a problem, especially if Vegas gets it wrong. Devontae Brown leaving Miami, going to Florida State. This is one of those guys that I think is better than all the underclassmen. So you can sign all the underclassmen you want, but Devontae Brown's going to be better than him. Now, he started at UCF for 3 years. Transferred down to Miami to be with his little brother. And his little brother was a true freshman this year at Miami. And he went down there. His brother's a superstar. He said, I'm going to go to Miami, play with my brother. And it didn't work out. It's tough when you go down there and you team back up with Cam Kitchens and the rest of the guys. Like, it's difficult, right? And he didn't get as much playing time. He finished the season with only 10 tackles. But I'm telling you, this man used to play 700 snaps a season. I shit you not. 700 defensive snaps a season. This year, it was only like 180. But he used to do 700. So I know that he's ready and he's willing to be on the field. He's an experienced player. He's been around a long time. He's 6'2", 185. Everything about Devontae Brown is Florida. He's Mr. Florida. He played at UCF, Miami, now Florida State. This is all he does. That's a player over there. Devontae Brown will be the first one off the bench if he's not starting. He will be in that rotation. He'll be in the top 4 corners. And remember, in college, if you've ever looked at a box score, it should tell you, in college, your second and third string defenders, they play. Don't ever think it's about your starters. Go look at a box score and see who has tackles for that game. Everybody rotates. Now, on offense, your quarterback shouldn't rotate. Your offensive lineman shouldn't rotate. But on defense, everybody rotates. Everybody. So you got to have depth. And I think Devontae Brown is quality, physically mature, capable, and ACC-ready depth. He's been playing at this level for a long time. So it's just one of those things. Shout out to him. Saeed Gibbs, leaving Rhode Island, going to Georgia Tech. This is an underrated signing, guys. I have a UR next to his name on my chart. Underrated signing. Saeed Gibbs, 3 years of eligibility left, 6 feet tall. He's from Everett, Massachusetts. Okay, so he's not even from Georgia. They just saw him and said, yo, this kid can play. 3 interceptions, 6 pass breakups. I have only 2 games of film on Rhode Island. Went back and watched him. Saeed Gibbs looks like he belongs on the field. He looks like he belongs at Georgia Tech. Now, he's good, but Warren Burrell is obviously better. I really like Saeed Gibbs. I do. And I think the potential's there. He has 3 more years. I told you. You sign him for 1 year. But when you sign an FCS kid, he usually doesn't transfer again. He's grateful for the opportunity to have come up from the FCS level to the FBS. So I think he stays put. I think this is just a great addition to the team. Don't know if he's going to have the impact that Warren Burrell has. Like, Warren Burrell's got a shot here, guys. This is a kid. Warren Burrell's from North Gwinnett, from Georgia. He's coming home. If y'all don't know North Gwinnett, you know Barrett Carter. There's studs everywhere from North Gwinnett. But Warren Burrell is a starter from Tennessee. As long as he's healthy, he's a starter from Tennessee. So you got a guy who played, I think he played 40 games, 22 starts at Tennessee. Whew. That's an SEC starter right there, as long as he's healthy. I love it. It's a wrap. This could be one of the top 10. I have him 10th right now in my rankings. He could be top 5 in the transfer portal, defensive back rankings. When it comes to impact, that guy's an immediate starter on your team. So for anybody to be like, well, what about, and you start naming some freaking 4 or 5-star kid from high school, irrelevant. We're talking about a man who's played in 40 SEC caliber games, at least 20, at least 30. Non-conference games in SEC, if you're doing 40 games, that's 10 years, that's 4 years. Well, 3 years. There's 8 conference games, 24 games, 24 SEC games. You want to play with that? Not a game, not to be played with. Kobe Taylor intrigues me on tape. 6'4", 190. So he's a little skinny coming out of high school, straight out of Pasadena, Texas. Went to Wyoming, played well. If you go watch the tape this year, he had 7 batted passes, always meeting the ball at the highest point. He's 6'4", and he still jumps. I love his game, and he's transferring into Vandy. I think it's a good move, man. There was a lot of people after him. There was a ton of people after him, and Vandy won that recruiting battle. I don't know how. They shout out to them. That's a good one. That's a good signing. I'm excited for it. Devin Dye. Maybe you guys know his father. This will be the last one before I go to the chat. Maybe you guys know Devin Dye's father. Jermaine Dye, former baseball player, Kansas City Royals. Jermaine Dye is his father. Devin Dye comes from a family of athletes, leaving Utah State, going to Kansas. Here's the trick. He's a JUCO dude. So went to Cathedral Catholic in San Diego. From there, moved on to Palomar, I think, for 2 years, and he balled out. Balled out. This 1 year at Utah State, 81 tackles, 7 PBUs, 7 pass breakups. Remember, we want 10. At 10 or above, you're elite. He's at 7. It's just good enough. 2 interceptions. But he's joining up with his father. Jalen Dye, with his brother. Jalen Dye is at Kansas also. You got 2 brothers coming in. I'm cool with it. 2 years of eligibility left. Looks like a good player to me. I'm excited for him. Shout out to Devin Dye. Going to Kansas. Kansas, you got a good one. Can't be mad at that. So I'm going to stop right there. We'll come back on Terry Jones. But let's go to the chat and see what's up. So, chat. I'm going to try to scroll through it. Go back to the top. We're good. So I don't know if it moves with me the way it moves on your screen. It should. But first and foremost, shout out to Cannon. Cannon says, Rico knows all. He may get it wrong, but he says when he's wrong. I don't really say when I'm wrong, Cannon. I don't worry about when I'm wrong. I don't dwell on my misses, bruh. I focus on my victories. I do not dwell on my misses at all. That's not something I'm known to do. I don't recommend it to any of you. Imagine a girlfriend breaks up with you. You're just going to sit around and talk about her all day? No. Okay, I'm the same way, man. When I miss, it's all good. I just keep it moving. If and when I miss, I just keep it moving. That's a fact. I ain't playing with you. I ain't worried about it. What up, Doe? Shout out to the plug. What up, Lawrence Collins? I know when you're here, bro. I just see that little outlet, that little 110 outlet. Shout out to you. Preston Hodge, Kendall Hayes. Preston Hodge going to Colorado. I want to say something about this. This is a Liberty transfer. I'm not impressed with the move. I don't like it. They moved him up to 4 stars on the recruiting websites. I don't like it. I've seen it. I'm underwhelmed by it. I think the defensive backs are good. I wasn't impressed with his tape. I wasn't impressed with the move. It's actually not a big impact move for me, personally. So that's where I'm at on that. I'm actually more impressed with, let me double check. Yeah, I'm more impressed with DJ McKinney. DJ McKinney just signed out of Oklahoma State. He just started this year as a redshirt freshman. He looked great on tape. He looked very impactful. Go back and watch the Texas versus Oklahoma State game, and DJ McKinney looks the part. That's a kid out of Colleyville, Texas. He was a hurdler in high school. He looks athletic. I like hurdler. I was a hurdler in high school as well. It just, things about him are on point. Dude looks like an athlete. 6'2", 190, physically mature. I like him a lot. Preston Hodge wasn't even a starter 2 years ago. I can remember watching Liberty tape last offseason. A ton of it. Like more than you guys can imagine. Because I was watching Chris Megason, the transfer to SMU, and Rocket Robert Rahimi, who actually didn't end up at SMU. He was supposed to go there. He ended up just dying in the portal. He didn't even play. And then now he's committed to San Jose State. I'm hoping he flips to Arizona. But I'm just letting you know, like Preston Hodge, in a room full of alphas, I didn't see him. I didn't notice him. So, yeah, you're going to Colorado. Hopefully you have that impact. But for me personally, I don't see it. I'm just keeping it real. I don't see it. So there you go. Next one. Hey, Rico, what do you think about Jabbar Muhammad, the Washington DB that is currently in the portal? So usually on all my shows, I talk about players that are committed to schools right now because there are players in the portal that will never sign anywhere. They're going to die in the portal. So I don't waste any energy on players that are in the portal. I talk about you once you sign to a team, and then I assess your fit and your decision and the scheme and your level of impact, right? And that's when I do my analysis. So what I'll say about Muhammad, I haven't even sat down and watched his film because he hasn't signed anywhere yet. But obviously I know who he is. Obviously I watched every single Washington game. If you guys don't know, I watch every FBS level game. I know it sounds far-fetched and crazy, but this is what I do. This is my job, and I take it very serious. So I've watched Jabbar Muhammad play. I think he's a very good player. I think it's a quality signing for any team that'll have him. I'm going to tell you right now, if he doesn't sign with Alabama, that will be a huge loss for Alabama because that's a corner that you know, that you trust. Alabama had 7 DBs depart. They need replacements, and you're perfect for the job. And why wouldn't you follow your coach? What's going on? All right? Well, I'll tell you what's going on, money. But I think very highly of Jabbar Muhammad. Do you think there's any coaches that follow you to get info on players? Ahmed Davis, I know there are. I have many coaches in my DMs. They talk to me all the time. Now, a lot of times coaches know of the players, but they're waiting for a confirmation from others to see the same thing they're seeing, or to maybe see a contradiction from what they're seeing. Maybe I'm pointing out something they didn't see, things of that nature. So it's just a concatenation or a combination of input. But I talk to a lot of players. I talk to a lot of coaches, offense and defensive coordinators, offense and defensive analysts. I talk to, and it's even like JUCO coaches. It's crazy. A lot of FCS coaches. I'd say on the FBS side, I probably only talk to about, on coaching staffs, about 24. There's a lot more, and this is crazy, a lot more on my Twitter than my TikTok. And my Twitter I just started 2 weeks ago, and they've reached out to me. So it's been pretty cool. I expected it. I know it. This is my realm. This is what I do. It's not a far leap when I have literally hundreds of players talking to me every day. So, like, every day. So today I even had an offensive lineman from Ole Miss reach out to me. He's currently dealing with an injury right now, but he's like, hey, Rico, I need help. I'm probably going to jump in the portal in the spring. And when he jumps in the portal in the spring, I'm going to say, yeah, that's the guy I've been consulting for the last 6 months, right? And there's things like that. There's situations like that where people reach out to me, and sometimes I just tell them, hey, let's give it a wait. Let's wait. Let's wait till the end of the semester. Let's first graduate. Let's do these other things and these other, there's little benchmarks we need to meet. It's not like an everyday thing where I need to advise the kid every single day on what's happening. It'll be real simple. I just be like, hey, man, let's wait till this. And a lot of these kids who are injured want to jump in the portal. I tell them, don't. Stay at your school. Get your rehab. They pay for it. Go to your physical therapy. Go to your appointments. They're paying for all of it while you're on scholarship. The minute you jump in the portal, you don't get any of that support anymore. So let's be smart. Let's use them for what they're for what they're good for. And then when it's time to jump, let's jump. Stuff like that. Just be an adult about things. I think Downs' decision is between playing at Georgia with his DB coach or the NI Brinks truck Ohio State is offering. Yeah, Sean Rivers, there's also one more thing there, and that's you're looking at location for Georgia as well because he's from Georgia, but you're also looking at Ohio State having a potential national championship run in them. They have a lot of returners in key positions. They have a lot of talent on that roster. It's looking very ideal, and it wouldn't be vilified. Like, it'd be fine. But, yes, of course he wants to play for his coach, his familiar situation, and his surroundings. It makes sense. Hey, Rico, I don't know if I missed it, but did you ever talk about Bryce Underwood to LSU? James Dota Vietnam. You definitely didn't miss it. I don't talk about recruits. I don't care about recruits. I don't care that he declared. He's got to go play high school football. He's going to sign on the dotted line. He's going to go to school, eventually go to practice someday, and I'll talk about him when he hits the transfer portal or makes the two deep. That's when I talk about a player. When you hit the transfer portal or you make the two deep. And I usually don't even talk about you if you hit the portal. You got to sign with a team. You got to go to practice and earn your spot before I'll talk about you. I'm aware of the players. I don't care. Bryce Underwood to LSU doesn't move me any more than half of these other top prospects who have decommitted and changed their minds over and over and over. Like, James, what is the most inconsistent thing in the world? In the world. Ask a girl. Ask an 18 or a 15 to 25-year-old woman. 15 to 25-year-old girl. Ask her what's the money. She's going to tell you her boyfriend, bro. She's going to tell you her boyfriend breaks up with her, cheats on her, changes his mind. One day he's good, one day he's not. These young men are the most inconsistent demographic in the world. We can't fault them and waste our time and energy talking about them. That's what recruiting websites are for, and they're worthless. They just talk about rumors. Oh, he's down to his top 3. Oh, he's down to his top 4. So-and-so just verbally. None of that shit matters. They change their mind all the time. I will not waste energy talking about recruits outside of that rant right there. And I do that rant about once a day because you guys ask me once a day about recruits. It's annoying. Curious about what Rico thinks about Washington defensive back that went to Miami. You're going to have to give me a name. You have to give me a name. I'm not. You said went to Miami? Am I drawing a blank? Bear with me. Who the hell went to Miami? Control F. I got Arizona, Vanderbilt. Is it brand new? Did it just happen? If it's brand new, my thoughts are it's brand new. I don't know what to tell you. I just double checked everybody. Where was I? I was on Terry Jones, wasn't I? Yeah. Let me go back to the chat. Sorry about that, y'all. Did he talk about DJ McKinley? I did. I just talked about him, Trey Money, rewind the show. There has been over 7 DBs with the transfer portal from UNLV since they have gotten many DBs from the transfer portal, such as Chavis, Catalong, Grimes, Vessel. Thoughts? So my thoughts are it's pretty disgusting what these recruiting websites are doing. Because the minute Tony Grimes committed to UNLV, he became a 3-star commit. He went from 5 stars to 3 stars. He went from ranked in the top 20. I promise you, I went to Rivals on their tracker. You guys can't see what I'm doing over here, but I'm going to the Rivals transfer portal tracker, and they have these rankings, and it's disgusting. You won't find Tony, like, back in 2023, last offseason, Tony Grimes, going to A&M, he's ranked 17th. Check this out. Right here. Check it out. There it is. Tony Grimes ranked 17th in the transfer portal. He went from 5 stars to 4 stars. 17th, right before Denver Harris, ahead of Keon Coleman. And now that Tony Grimes is going to UNLV, you go to 2024, and you try to find Tony Grimes. And I'm telling you, you're going to be looking. And I was searching high and low. Where the hell is Tony Grimes? It's crazy. And they got no shame. They're like, there's Jalen Catalon. And they're saying he's in the portal. They don't even know he's going to UNLV. This is why they suck. Isham Young, he's going to North Texas. They don't even know he's going to North Texas. The errors are insane on this website. But whatever happened, there's Malik Benson. They dropped him down. Why? Because he's not going to Bama anymore. They do this, and it's just disgusting. I'm not a Tony Grimes guy, but I just think it sucks that they lower their rankings because of what school they're committed to. And it's a fact. Look at Kevin Coleman. 3 stars now. He's just 3 stars. Let's just drop him. Yeah, you leave Georgia. You're not 5 stars anymore. It's crazy. It's crazy. Look at that. Raymond Cottrell, he was 4 stars. He's now 3. Oh, Rico, they're reassessing. They're reassessing based on how they actually did and performed. Oh, is that what they're doing? Then why is LeJontay Wester down here at 250 after having a 1,000-yard season and over 100 receptions? Why is he down here at 250 behind a Division III guy, behind wide receivers who've never played? Cottrell's got 1 catch in his whole life. How is he ahead of LeJontay Wester? We don't care about production. We're just going to make up rankings because that's what we're going to do. Because no one's going to hold us accountable. So let's just make up rankings. Yeah, it's gross. I love what UNLV's doing, rehauling their defensive backs, rehauling the defensive side of the ball. They need that. That go-go offense is a problem. It scores a lot of points. But if it's a 3-and-out, man, that defense is getting tired. And they couldn't stop the run to save their life. And there's a lot of run-oriented teams in that Mountain West, so I hope they figure it out. But, yeah, they got some players. I like the improvement. With Richardson going to the draft, Richardson just left. What do you think about Ole Miss recruiting Trey Amos? I think that Trey Amos is overrated. I'm not a big fan of Trey Amos, personally. I don't think he should have been at Alabama. I don't think he was that caliber of player. This is a young man that was at the Raging Cajun before that, Louisiana. Just doesn't move me, bro. Doesn't move me. Congrats. Keep rehashing and go picking up dudes that have, some helmet that you recognize. It's not the point. It's not what you're supposed to do. Can you explain why Des Ricks is on your bottom 10 transfers? He reclassified to the 2023 class, and there is no shame in being behind the stacked DB room. Now he's going to start with Will Lee. Jeremy Harrington. So I have no doubt Will Lee's going to start. Will Lee's one of my top 10 defensive backs. Des Ricks, shout out to him for, I'm going to talk about him later in the show. But for me, I already explained this in the show earlier. If you're an underclassman and you're transferring, your impact is little to none, especially if you're not a starter. I look at Des Ricks and I don't see a starter. There's no shame in not being a starter. There's no shame in being depth, especially as an underclassman. He reclassed to 2023. He's so young. Yes, he's very young, but he'll be in the portal next offseason. So what was his impact for A&M this year? None. The same reason LSU people got excited when they signed Denver Harris is the same reason you're getting excited that they signed Des Ricks. It's the same thing. Dudes who aren't good enough to get on the field, but they're big names. They were 4- and 5-star kids coming out of high school. You're convinced they're going to be great players someday, and they will be, just not at your school, just not at your team, because it's free agency. Next offseason, I'll see him in the portal again, and wherever he goes, maybe now he'll get a little more playing time. Maybe now he'll be more physically mature to contribute on the field. Please understand what I'm saying. I can't sit here and be sold on that move. It doesn't work for me. Not when I'm looking at other Texas A&M defensive backs and saying they're great, right? Texas A&M has signed Ratcliffe and Saunders. Now, I'm not a big fan of either one, but they've actually played football. Ricks is not, right? Will Lee's a blanket. I get it. He's a beast. But when you start looking at A&M signing players, there's a lot of them. DeRicky Wright's great. You guys got to understand. Trey Jones getting in there. They're going to rotate at safeties. I got it. I've looked at the whole secondary of A&M. There's nothing you can tell me about the secondary at A&M other than when you sign an underclassman, it doesn't move me if that underclassman is not in your 2 deep. If that underclassman is not a starter, it's in my bottom 10. You go and sign a freshman, sophomore that's not a starter, it's in my bottom 10. You just went from being on the Alabama bench to the A&M bench. You couldn't start here, you're not going to start there. To think that, oh, yeah, the 3rd and 4th string, look, if you think the 3rd and 4th string corners at Alabama could start at A&M, you have severely misunderstood what's happening here. Because those same corners that couldn't start lost their jobs. You know why he's on the bench? Because Trey Amos came over, a group of 5 starter. If Trey Amos can start over your 3rd and 4th string, your 3rd and 4th string ain't shit. This is happening everywhere. Every position group, people are coming to realize, like, oh, my God, I thought we had great players. No, you don't. You don't have a whole room full of pros. There's 2 pros at starting. Everybody else is just recruiting misses or depth that needs to be developed. It's so hard to explain to homers. It's so hard to explain to recruiting website fans. But when you watch it on the field, that 5-star kid can't see the field. Happened at Louisville this year. Happens at Georgia every year. It's apples and oranges, man. This is why they go and recruit other running backs. Look at Georgia's running back room. They went in, they said, man, we can't do this. We can't go into the season with these guys. We're going to go sign ETN. Why? Because the dudes in our room aren't very good. The starter just got drafted in the 7th round. None of these guys are NFL. Man, you guys got to pay attention to what's happening. Who was the last running back drafted in the NFL draft last year? The 18th running back off the board. That was the starter at Georgia. If he's the 18th guy off the board, nobody in that room is a pro. And that's why they keep bringing in transfers. And that's why they keep trying to find replacements from other teams, not their own team. They don't have the answer on their bench. Branson Robinson, Rico, I saw a hype film on him. No. It's an orgy in the end zone. No. They don't care that Devin Brown's here, Lincoln Kineholz is here. No, they're going to go get Will Howard. You guys got to study this. None of your bench players are NFL players. They're just not. Des Ricks is not it. Not next season. Maybe one day. That's why he's in my bottom 10. Not sure if you'll get to them, but Amorian Walker and Yam Banks, are they meh or a good pickup. So Amorian Walker, I think I already got to in the first episode. I'll double check. Give me a second. Trying to get to Wesley Walker. He's going to the UNLV. Amorian Walker, I'm not going to get to him tonight. I will be getting to Yam Banks in a few. Yam Banks is good. Yam Banks is good enough. Shout out to Ole Miss. They got a player from South Alabama. I'll talk about him later. But Yam Banks is good enough. I didn't like that he went to Ole Miss. I thought he could have went maybe to somewhere in the ACC and actually really improved his pro stock because he's going to be on the field nonstop. But at Ole Miss, he'll be in the rotation. But I still think he's a good player. Yeah, it's a good pickup. You improve your room immensely. Vincent Holmes should go. No thoughts on where players should go. Let them do their thing. Thoughts on Jaden Rashada. There we go. A guy who just belongs on the bench somewhere. Louisville DBs are good. And they've been improved. I like them a lot. Will Julian Humphrey, he break out at Georgia. He kept flip-flopping in the portal. Yeah, I don't have a clue. They got a new coach. They're going to figure it out. They have really good players. He was 18 years old competing with 22-year-olds. Elko Estrade will get him right. Yeah, Jeremy Harrington, it doesn't matter. He's going to eventually get him right. Doesn't matter your age. Don't do the age thing. The age thing is relevant in basketball when we're talking about potential and how much better they're going to be. In football, you either get on the field or you don't. It's not like, oh, well, he's on the bench and he's really developing really well. Was he the scout team player of the year? Was he the best practice squad player I met? Like, what are we talking about? Where do we come up with this logic? There is no logic here. You've seen nothing on tape to warrant saying he's going to start over anybody. Nothing. All you know is a recruiting website, his age, and he's going to be developed. And now you're talking about the coaches are going to get him straight. Like they're not getting the rest of the roster straight. Like the coaches are only going to develop that 18-year-old and not the other 12 DBs they have. It just blows my mind. Blows my mind. Like, people got to understand what's happening here. You're hanging on to a prospect. And the only reason you know the prospect is you're either family, a friend, or you went to a website. That's it. Because nothing he's done on a Saturday warrants his name being mentioned. I watch all the film. Nothing he's done on a Saturday warrants his name being mentioned. Nothing. Period. I'm going to go back to the list now. Shout out to you guys. Thank you, chat. I'll get back to the chat after I do 10 more people. So, let's go talk. We're back in the transfer portal. I believe I'm on Terry Jones. Terry Jones, another ODU kid coming from Indiana. The difference here is when I turn on the tape for Terry Jones, I see a ton of production. He's following Kurt Signetti. He has the right size and weight and everything. He's 6'1", 193. But when I watched it, he didn't look as good as Asbury on tape. Like, Asbury is the real deal here. And I talked about Sean Asbury earlier, but Terry Jones did have over 100 tackles. He had more tackles than Asbury. Could you imagine? You're getting two safeties from ODU, and they had 90 tackles last year and over 100 tackles. They're both going to Indiana. And you guys, this last gentleman here, wants me to get excited about a kid who's never played when there's guys out here getting 100 tackles. Apples and oranges. I'm telling you, Des Ricks could have played at ODU and not got 100 tackles. Granted, they're safeties. But I think I proved my point. You either get on the field and be productive, or you're just potential, and who gives a shit? Who cares? We recruited a bunch of potential guys. Yeah, I know. Who was the kids last year from A&M? All potential. Smoke Bowie went to Georgia, was off the team in a couple of weeks. Oh, Rico, he's an amazing prospect. He was a 4-star coming out of high school, 5-star. He was younger than everybody. He just needed time, and that room was loaded. Okay. Where's he at right now? Groves Killebrew? Where's Groves Killebrew at? You guys got to understand what it means. There's actual dudes out here strapping it up, doing it every Saturday. And there's other guys who go to practice, and they look at the 4- and 5-star players. Difference. Mason White, leaving TCU, going to Oregon State. I have this down as one of my worst moves in the entire transfer portal. It's number 4 on my bottom 10. I don't understand it. Mason White went to JUCO and Mount Sac Juco, right? San Jacinto. And when I look at it and I go up there to Mount Sac and I look at his tape, 5 interceptions at Sac. Sweet. But he went to TCU this year. TCU's defense was porous. It was terrible. He played in 4 games and did absolutely nothing worth talking about. Nothing. I think he should have transferred to Tarleton if he wanted to stay in purple. I think he should have transferred to the FCS, the Big Sky. Nothing about him on tape, nothing about his production warrants this signing. This kid should not be at the FBS level. It's a recruiting miss, and Oregon State is going to find out the hard way. This is a bad signing. I'm not proud of it. I don't get it. Good luck. Kenyatta Watson leaving Georgia Tech, going to Georgia State. Shout out to Kenyatta Watson. He's been trying, man, but it's unfortunate. This is a kid who played at Grayson coming out of high school. If you don't know anything about high school football, 7A football in Georgia is the pinnacle. It's right up there with the CIF Southern section, your highest level in Florida, your highest in Texas. 7A football is Travis Hunter, Caleb Downs. Like, all these guys are from 7A football, all the way to, like, Trevor Lawrence, right? So it's the real deal of football, and Kenyatta Watson played in 7A football, and he was good. So he signs out of high school, goes to Texas. He's at Texas for 2 years. Red shirts in 2019, then COVID, so none of those years counted. 2 years at Texas, couldn't see the field. I could not see the field. Then he gets to Georgia Tech, and in 3 years at Georgia Tech, he has 12 tackles. Once again, you can't play at Texas. You think I'm going to come home, I can play at Georgia Tech. No, you can't. You're not good enough to get on the field. You should have went down. And he didn't realize it until it's too late, and now he's finally going to go down to Georgia State. I think Georgia State's excited to get him. It's pretty cool. I hope he plays well in his final year of eligibility. But it feels like, to me, a wasted football career when you could have been at Georgia State the entire time. But because of the stigma of being a 3 or 4 star kid and going to a local FBS level school, but all your friends are bragging about where they're going. It's Grayson, bro. Phil Maffa's going to Clemson, right? You hear all your best friends from school are going to these different schools. I'm telling you, there are kids out there that are playing and getting playing time and having great careers. One of his teammates is wide receiver. He actually went to Eastern Kentucky. Played out of his mind. He just transferred to UTEP. He's had 2 amazing seasons on the field. He ain't mad. He's cool. Yeah, he went to Eastern Kentucky. But now he's at UTEP, and he's going to be in the starting lineup. Whereas Kenyatta Watson just went his whole college career and didn't experience much on the field. What do you do? He had 5 tackles this year, by the way. 5. 5 more than me. Jermaine Jackson leaving Robert Morris, going to Virginia. This is a clutch signing right here, y'all. This is a hidden gem signing all day long. Straight out of Plant City, Florida. Shout out to him. I think he transferred to Akron. Don't quote me on this, but I can't see it. But I thought he went to Akron. Something happened, and then he went back to Robert Morris. When I say something happened, maybe admissions, something. But Robert Morris, this guy, 1 year. His nickname is Jam. Jamarian Jackson, his nickname is Jam. He will jam you at the line. Co-conference defensive player of the year. Freshman defensive player of the year. Played great. I think he's added depth. I think he's going to be grateful that he's at the FBS level and he won't leave the team. I think he's ready to contribute to the field right now for Virginia. That's a great signing. That's a kid nobody's talking about. 6'2", 175. Play with anybody. Goes out there and does his damn thing. So you're an all-conference selection at the FCS level, and you're going to Virginia, and you're grateful that you got an offer. And go out there and ball, man. I'm excited for him. The rest of these guys, Antonio Kite, twice tell them to fix it. I don't have any update on Antonio Kite. I'm just glad that he's staying, in the state of Alabama. Wants to be in the state of Alabama, play there, go get some help, go help out a team. That looks like a realistic move. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Not too excited for it, but we'll see what happens. This is a good move. Philip Dunham, leaving Indiana, this former 4-star kid. Went to Indiana, played a little bit, 24 games played, so he's been around, and he's been playing pretty good. 58 tackles, 10 pass breakups in all those games, but 3 interceptions. I think he can start at FAU right now. I think FAU found themselves a starter in the portal when it comes to Philip Dunham here. It just repeated the list. Let's keep going. We're going to get to the committed list here shortly. Jermaine Irby leaving Cal, going to Boise State. Jeremiah Irby. On my list, it's an honor or it's an underrated move, which means it's very good. This is a kid with 10 pass breakups. He's 6'2", 185. I think he's a good player. I think he went to Oregon State out of high school. Then he went to no. He had offers from Oregon State, San Jose State, one more. But he chose Cal instead. So more power to him. His father played college, or not his father. Who was it? I apologize. I'm getting myself mixed up with James Mons right below him. I don't know why. Irby's a good kid. Apologize. Freshman year. Oh, I know what happened with Irby. It just hit me. Irby started 7 out of the last 8 games his freshman year. And he was good. And he looked like he was going to be the starter this year. But because they got a new scheme, new players, they brought in a bunch of transfers. Remember, they brought in McMorris from San Diego State. And they brought in some other guys. All of a sudden, Irby's not being used this year. So he went from starting 7 of the last 8 games to, thanks, bro, but you're out of here. And it sucks. So more power to him. I think he's a good player. I think Boise's excited to have him. That's a Pac-12 caliber, or what used to be the Pac-12 caliber starting player. Pretty good. James Mons, that's what I wanted to talk about. Super athletic, straight out of Florida. I think he belongs at the FCS level, but going to Middle Tennessee State is probably the move you do first, right? You went to Indiana. You didn't do much, but it feels like the right move. He comes from a crazy athletic family. You guys know everybody in his family. Father played college ball. I'm trying to think, is he the kid? No, he's not. I think it's somebody else. Mons has a bunch of family members. Cousins played in the NFL. Everybody was drafted, all this stuff. I hope he gets on the field at Middle Tennessee State. They need him. They lost some players. Let's see him get on the field. It'll be cool. Buddy Mack leaving Pitt, going to South Carolina. Feels like a lateral move to me. He's got 2 years left. He's from South Carolina, so he's just coming back home. The problem with Buddy Mack at Pitt is they kept moving him from linebacker to safety, back and forth. And when they do that, you're now a tweener. You get frustrated because you're not on the field. And I think coach is just trying to do what he can to keep you somewhere in the 2 deep. He's trying, but you're not doing much. And that's unfortunate for Buddy Mack. So 11 tackles in 2021. 11 games played in 2021, all special teams. 11 games played in 2020. And then this year, or 2022, he just went 4 games. He said, the hell with this, I'm redshirting. He's just trying to save his eligibility and do his thing, but it's not there, guys. It's not there. Buddy Mack, I hope he can help out. The thing about it is South Carolina has some really good linebackers coming in. And when I say really good, they have a respectable linebacker class. They're not going to need Buddy Mack at linebacker. So I think he wanted to stay at safety. And that's a good move for him. It's probably where he belonged. 2023, Derek Maxey redshirted this year in 2023, but he's coming back home. He did 1 season at Coastal. This is a good kid. Now, in high school, if you just watched him just recently, he played at Hapeville Charter in Atlanta area, and he was a good player. For whatever reason, though, those kids just want to sign at a different school. They don't want to go to Georgia State. It's right down the street. They don't want to go. And they go 1 year abroad, and then they go, man, we need to get back home. I need to get my ass back home. So he's back home. Good for him. And then Jaron Gilmore, same thing. Leaving Tennessee Tech. He's been there for a while. Coming to Georgia State. This looks pretty good to me. Little guy, though. 5'9", 180, fast as hell. Watch him on the tape. I said, whoa. All his time at Tennessee Tech, I want to say he had over 100 tackles in all his time there. 3 interceptions, 18 pass breakups. Pretty good. That's good for 6 a year because he was there for 3 years. In high school, I went back and watched his high school tape. Homie had 21 interceptions. 21 interceptions in high school. He wasn't a quarterback. He was picking shit off. It was pretty good. I think those are all the players. Oh, DJ Douglas. Holy smokes. DJ Douglas, you see him down here. Going from Tulane to Florida, that's not a mistake. There's a new defensive line coach at Florida. And he's bringing in Gerald Chapman, the defensive line coach. He's bringing in transfers from Tulane. And he brought in another one. So DJ Douglas is coming in. Now, DJ Douglas played at Thompson High School in Alabama, Alabaster, Alabama, right? He played at Thompson. State champs, perennial powers, all that stuff. but he was a walk-on. He went and became a walk-on at Alabama for 2 years. And he never got a scholarship. He's just a walk-on there. And then he went to Tulane, got his scholarship. So that's why he's 0 stars. He's a Tulane transfer, but he's a former Alabama guy. Then he went to Tulane. When he got to Tulane, guess what? All you guys out there, but he's on the bench. No, he couldn't start at Tulane either. It took him a while. He eventually got in the starting lineup and earned it. This kid is big. He's 6 foot 205. He looks like he packs a punch when he tackles. I like DJ Douglas. I think he's a good player. But I also think it's Sunbelt Billy doing his bullshit again and recruiting Sunbelt caliber players to Florida. It's just what he's used to. I don't know what he's doing, but I'm a little underwhelmed by the signing. He eventually became pretty good. 3 interceptions this year, 5 pass breakups, but a little underwhelmed by the signing. Better than nothing. Better than nothing, let me tell you. So let's go back up. This time we're going to go to the committed, and then I'll go back to the chat once I'm done here. I have only about 5 guys I want to talk about on the committed side. Next episode, I will run down 25 committed guys because we have now talked about all the enrolled guys. And that's kind of my way of staying organized if you guys are new to the show and not understanding what I'm doing. So now, defensive backs, committed. I already talked about Nyland Green in the first episode. I want to make sure I talked about A.J. Harris and Nyland Green. Oh, A.J. Harris, I talked about him, but he hadn't committed to Penn State. So now that A.J. Harris is committed to Penn State, let me just say this. Born in Germany, right? Transferred to Central in Alabama. Yeah, Central. Was it Phoenix Central? I forget. But he's not a real burner on tape. A.J. Harris, not a real burner. They gave him 4 and 5 stars and all this shit they did because he went to Georgia. But when I watched the tape, no. Not a burner. But shout out to, shout out to Penn State for picking up a kid. Georgia's down to only Chris Pill from their 2023 recruiting class. All the DBs left. So shout out to them. They're gonna reload on DBs. Obviously, they got a new defensive back coach, and they got a bunch of players on the cusp. But the reason they're down to just Pill is because Harris is left, and last year they got rid of Marcus Washington. He was from Grovetown. It's the city I live in. They got rid of Marcus Washington after 1 season, sent him to Louisville. Guess what happened? You can't start at Georgia. You can't start at Louisville either. Same thing happened. He went up to Louisville, didn't start, just depth, just on the team. It'll be a while. So that's what happened there. So I just wanted to touch on A.J. Harris. But let's go to Des Ricks. I'm actually what I'm doing on my screen over here, I'm looking at my database to see if I talked about these players. One thing I didn't talk about with Des Ricks, and I've talked about him in the past, obviously in like videos and stuff, but this kid's from Chesapeake, Virginia. That's where he's originally from. And then he was a city champ in the 200, so he's really fast at 14 years old. He's really young, Rico. Yeah, at 14, he was a city champ in the 200. But then he moved to IMG. And when he went to IMG, he started playing really early. If you go and watch tape on the Bishop Sycamore game where IMG is blowing out Bishop Sycamore, he's in that game and he gets an interception. So Des Ricks has been around for a while, been playing at a high level against really good people, but he was at Alabama for 1 year. When you go sign at A&M, how long are you going to be at A&M? You just got paid. Whatever it is, they pay you. I think the tendency here is once they lower the portal rules, the restrictions, these kids are going to be in the portal every single year and be free agents and go to a different team. I hope he stays at A&M. I hope he contributes. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Elko. Love everything Elko does. I love him at Duke. Loved him before that. And I hope he does what he can. But it's hard to build culture around here when every kid's jumping in the portal. Yeah, you got to build that relationship when they're in high school, and they got to be dedicated to you, focused on you, and you got to stay put. They got to stay put and build together. That's not happening anywhere but Clemson. Just keeping it real. Shout out to Clemson because McCub was right there. Andrew's right here, and he left already. He went to Texas. So much for that. Next guy I need to talk about is Yam Banks, so let's go find him. And the reason I'm not talking about any of these guys, I talked about them in episode 1. So Yam Banks, leaving South Alabama, going to Ole Miss. He's good. I like him. The only problem is he doesn't have fast twitch. He doesn't look fast on tape. He's not very agile. He is straight line fast. He's a stud. 3rd team All Sun Belt. Been playing for a while. I think he had 6 interceptions in 2022, but he didn't have any this year, or he might have had 1 this year, but 6 in 2022 is great. A lot of it had to do with the Voisin brother and the way they did things in their scheme. They were just great. 3-year starter. Think he can play football. Congratulations. Welcome to it. He is from Mississippi, so I bet he likes to be back home. Mississippi and Alabama aren't that far apart, so it's not like everybody goes, oh, he's coming back home, Rico, he's coming back. Nah, calm down. He's good. Cole Martin, speaking of good, Cole Martin's really good. Cole Martin played the most of any corner at Oregon as a freshman. So all the freshman corners, Cole Martin got more than all of them. 21 tackles, 1 interception, one pass breakup. He's good. I like him. He's short, 5'10", 180. And when you have other corners that are like 6'3", and just studs, and then you see here, Oregon doesn't care. Oregon went and got Cam Alexander, who I'll give you a backstory on him. But I like Cole Martin following, some people he knows, going back home. He's from Chandler, Arizona. Going back home, go play at Arizona State. Let's go help the home team. So more power to him. It's a great get for Arizona State. Good get. Good get for Arizona State. Congratulations. Shout out to Cole Martin. I like the move. Like the move a lot. He's already in the starting lineup at Oregon, and Oregon's great. Their DBs were great. Cam Alexander leaving UTSA, going to Oregon. I hate this thing right here. I hate when they do this. Now he's 4 stars. I want you guys to know, last offseason, Cam Alexander was just a kickoff returner. He was just known as a speed guy. And he was leaving Sam Houston, going to UTSA. That's right. He was at Sam Houston, and he transferred to UTSA just last year. And in 1 year, now he's 4 stars, and he's this, and he's that, and he's going to be the starter, and Oregon's talking like this, and every website's blowing him up. Cam Alexander. Where were you last year? I got videos talking about this guy. Where were you last year? I got videos talking about Cam Alexander. Go look up UTSA transfer portal class. I'm talking about him. Pisses me off. He had an amazing year this year. Only 2 interceptions, but 15 PBUs. That's good enough for 3rd in the country, guys. 15 pass breakups is no joke. 15 is real. Anything over 10, to me, is elite. He's got to catch more of those. You got 15 pass breakups. You should have had more interceptions. But he's good. He's fast enough to make those pass breakups, so Oregon's going to bank on him. Shout out to them. I talked about everybody else. Last guy is Jake Pope. This is a terrible move. You couldn't play at Alabama, so you transfer to Georgia. Be close to home. Go with your coach where you're wanted. Jake Pope did not belong at Alabama. He's not an Alabama caliber player. I don't give a shit if he's 4 stars from Buford. I've watched this kid play. He ran a 4.4 40. He went to a camp. They saw him run that 40, and they gave him his 4 stars. Nothing he ever did in a game on Friday night warranted 4 stars. I watched every game Buford played. Nothing. I watched him. I didn't think he was special at all. I was like, man, why is he going to Bama? Shit, that kid belongs at Georgia Southern. Been saying it for years. Everybody, a hater. Well, now you just transferred to Georgia. Couldn't get on the field because they were starting Caleb Downs. Guess who Georgia's going to get? Caleb Downs, buddy. What a great transfer. Worst transfer among all the secondary. Bottom 10. I'm going back to chat one last time before I wrap it up, y'all. Thank you guys for being here. Let's see what the chat says. Thoughts on Kansas as well as Jalen Daniels and Devin Neal. Yeah, I love Kansas. Love what they're doing. They're building a program. They're going to be in the top 3 or 4 Big 12 teams next season. So more power to them. Thoughts on Jacquez Robinson. I think Jacquez Robinson has great issues. I don't think anybody's telling you, but he either has great issues, but he's just not very good. He's not a very good football player. You're on a team that's very, very underwhelming in the defense, period. They need upgrades everywhere. You couldn't see the field, and now you're in the portal. He's either got great issues or he's just not very good. That's a fact. Nye Black to Texas looking more probable by the hour. Thoughts? Hell of a move. Hell of a move. Giving them another weapon. I'm telling you, Texas looks loaded. Nye Black's great. Who had the best DB room, in your opinion? Miami. Miami has Cam Kitchens, and he's an NFL starter. So I look at everybody else. You kind of got some guys we might think highly of, whatever. Miami DBs, go look them up. Go watch them. Last year, amazing. What is? Oh wait. One more. Who was it? Not Oregon, not A&M. Oh, buddy. There's one more. Who was it, Rico? I think it was JMU. I think it was JMU last year. Yeah, JMU last year. I think they have an interesting stat where they had more incompletions than completions. You heard me right. There was more incompletions than completions. Quarterbacks were less than 50% completion percentage against JMU last year. JMU. A lot of it had to do with Jalen Green leading the country in sacks before he got injured. He had 15 and a half sacks. But JMU. Give me a second here. They tell me to drag a puzzle piece. Shout out to the TikTok crew. I don't see any of your chat, by the way, guys. I only talk to YouTube. You can join and join the show. What are your thoughts on Jalen Johnson from EMU to Iowa State? It's a running back. He's good. Not going to really talk about it. He's got some juice, but we're doing defensive backs. Trayvon Wright, the corner from Memphis that transferred to Mississippi State. Check episode 1. I believe I already talked about him. I'll double check. But let me just control F it and look for Memphis. Sorry. Taj. Let's keep looking. Cameron Smith. Actually, I have not talked about him. I owe you an answer. I apologize. I won't wing an answer. I owe you an answer, meaning I have to sit down and watch all his tape. That's how that goes. I'm very aware of him, but I got to watch the tape. What about Brandon Johnson and Jam Alexander to Oregon? What do you want me to do? How is ULM looking in the portal? You know, Earl, shout out to you for asking that, man. ULM, they got a brand new coach in Brian Vincent. Remember Brian Vincent in high school? Brian Vincent was the head coach for Spanish Fort, which is a good high school in South Alabama. And he parlayed that into becoming a coach, eventually the offensive coordinator at UAB, and then he became the interim head coach at UAB 2 years ago, and he did well with all the players. So once he did well with all the players, they wanted him to be the new head coach. The administration said, no, we're going to hire Trent Dilfer. So they hired Trent Dilfer, and Brian Vincent left, and he went to New Mexico to be the offensive coordinator last year. New Mexico was a terrible team. But everybody knows that Brian Vincent did such a great job at UAB the year before that even though they were a terrible team, and they got a bunch of transfers from Auburn or from UAB to go over there, like Dylan Hopkins, starting quarterback, and one of his wide receivers, and some other guys from Alabama State. They got some HBCU guys too. But the deal is that he's a known commodity now. So he transfers back to ULM. Gets to ULM. Guess who he's dragging with him? A bunch of Nevada dudes. And he's got anybody with a South Alabama, pipeline. He's getting them. So I think he got hired because he has a pipeline there in the South, in the Sun Belt states, in the SEC states. So shout out to him. I think ULM's doing as best they can. Obviously, be realistic. They haven't got any marquee guys to go and change their win-loss total. But I like where the program's headed. I'm happy for him. Who was the Temple guy that committed to Tennessee? I forgot his name. I don't know who you're talking about. I can check. I'm not familiar with who you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about Jalen McMurray. Yeah, Jalen McMurray will be in a future episode. I hope that's who you're talking about. He'll be in a future episode, future defensive back episode. Hey, man, just got here. Have you talked about the safety who transferred from Washington to Miami? No, I have not, Sispy. I did not see it. I've seen your comments about Taz flipping from Ole Miss to Louisville. Do you like that move better and more just added depth? Move to secondary also seems the same for Tyler Barron. So everybody's telling me, if you didn't know, the two players that flipped from Ole Miss to Louisville, everyone's telling me it was because of academic admissions issues. It's not always true. Ole Miss can get a lot of people in. I've seen a lot of academically questionable people getting into Ole Miss. But I think it's a better move for him. I think it's a better move for Taz. I think he's, like I said, I still think he's a penalty waiting to happen. Barron, I don't care what they rate him in the websites. He's just added depth. So Barron will not be starting, but congratulations for going to Louisville. And Taz, hopefully he doesn't piss you off and get a penalty in a big moment when you need him most, because that guy's grabby. He's a little cornerbacky. Just checking in. Have I talked about A.J. Williams from Wake to Coastal? Double check. Control F. Wake. I got Harris. Nope. Have not. It'll be in a future episode. Thank you for asking. Rico, I'm curious if Alabama will be this year's Stanford in terms of potential losses versus additions. No, Al Green, not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell. There are other teams with epic departures, but I will have to check. I mean, obviously I'll have to check. But, no, if you looked at it a couple years back or last year on my chart, and I'm not going to pull up my chart here, but in my rankings, the team that was at the bottom was actually A&M. Well, Stanford was at the bottom, but A&M is very comparable to what's happening in Alabama right now. A&M lost so many of their 5-star players from that recruiting class that didn't pan out, but they lost so many of them that it impacted the rankings negatively. So did Florida. Florida lost like 33 players. But just know this. Right now, Alabama is at 75 scholarship players. I did the math. I figured it all. I put this out on Twitter, by the way. And if they're at 75 scholarship players right now because they just signed one today, they're going to sign some players, guys. Like, everybody needs to just relax. They got 11 guys coming in, 12 guys coming in. They're going to meet their holes and their shortcomings. But I looked at it. It doesn't look too bad anywhere. No position group looks terrible with the exception. I'm very underwhelmed by the quarterbacks. But everybody else looked pretty respectable. Running backs are solid. Wide receivers, you did lose 5 of them. But they have guys coming in. That recruiting class was great. Tight ends, they're fine. Offensive line, obviously you need to develop players and find some senior guys. But you can bring over some Washington kids and solve all that issue. Washington has a great offensive line. They really do. Defensive line, they have depth. Linebackers, just younger depth. They did lose 3 linebackers in the transfer portal and 1 to the NFL. Defensive backs, they lost 5, but they had guys coming in. They got 2 athletes. I don't know where they're going to put them. They do need to find a punter, but they're fine, man. Alabama's got depth. They'll be all right. And they're going to get some. They're going to sign some people. I'm cold-blooded. Thank you very much. Thoughts on Kansas? Not much. I already talked about him once. Thoughts on Amarion Walker to Ole Miss? Feel like he should have stayed. Do what you do. Go where you go. Not much you can say about it. Thoughts on DJ McKinney? I already talked about it. Rewind the show. What do you think about the returning Ohio State defensive back? Ohio State studs all the way around. They're loaded everywhere. Ohio State's ready to win a national title. Do you think Miami safeties transfer that they got will remotely fill the shoes? No. No one's going to fill those shoes. Kitchen and James Williams were the 2 best safeties in America. No one's filling that. Diego Pounds from UNC is not that good for Ole Miss. I see him in lower Power 5, Group of 5. So thanks for telling me. We're on the DB episode, but thanks for letting us know. Kai Stokes transfer, I have no opinion. How would you go about the portal for Texas? Defensive back room was horrendous last year and lost them the OU game and Washington game. Just keep. You're not going to find better players in the portal than what you have on your team if you're an elite team. Just not. You're going to get a bunch of these young kids that are added depth, but you got a starter right here. They got a starter. You can't see what I'm pointing at, but they got a starter in Andrew, right? McCubba from Clemson. They're all right. Don't worry about it. You just keep building them up, keep training them, keep coaching them. You can't have a perfect team, bro. If you had a perfect team, what are we doing? You're talking about their losses to OU and Washington. No DBs you sign, we're going to stop Rome or Dunez. Not O'Dunes. O'Dunez. Nobody was going to stop those guys. You know how you stop Washington? A defensive line, not defensive backs. Don't give them time to throw. We saw the recipe. It's not about your DBs. It's about your defensive line. Get that guy out of the pocket, smother him, get him off platform. You can't sit here and try to do coverage sacks. That's not happening. Let's get a good rush, get him to throw something terrible, and pick it off. Thoughts on Graham Mertz? He's a quarterback, not a DB. I'm last. So sorry if you've already covered him, but what do you think about Christian's story? Yeah, rewind the show. I don't think very highly of him. Appreciate the feedback. Rico, I think I found you on Instagram. You did not find me on Instagram. They're all fake accounts. Do not talk to anybody on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram. I have no Instagram. The safety that transferred from Washington to Miami is Powell. Oh, Powell did. Okay. Powell's a hell of a player. Congratulations. Powell's not bad. Not at all. Good stuff. Bama is bringing in a super staff. They are. I like what they're doing. Downs to come back, but he will demand the bag if not. Downs ain't coming back. That's ridiculous. What do you think of Oregon's secondary? Looks very good. Looks very good. Rico, would you rather have Sayan or Mac? I don't know who the hell Mac is. I don't care about recruits. I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know. Oh, you're talking about the Mac, the transfer from Washington. My bad. I don't care. That's irrelevant to me. You're talking about the third and fourth string quarterbacks. What are we doing? What are we doing? I saw someone had Texas A&M as the number one portal class. Well, whoever, block them next time. Thoughts on UNC this season? Fourth or fifth best team in the ACC? Bama is going to suck for a while. Yep, it's all right. They have no experience recruiting in the South. This is 100% correct. They'll figure it out. What do you think of Florida's defensive back room? I don't. What are your thoughts on Washington's future in the Big Ten? As in every starter left. Trust in Jed Fish. Jed Fish knows how to get the most out of people. I don't know if he's going to hit the lottery again and get T-Mac and Fafita and all them, but just trust in Jed Fish. He knows what to do. It might take a while. Sit tight. And there's a lot of talent in Washington and Oregon. They'll be okay. Favorite group of 5 team to watch in terms of most fun. It changes every single year, Sespi. This upcoming year, my favorite team, I'm telling you guys right now, my favorite team going into this next season is Memphis. Memphis, I want them to go undefeated, and they'll be in the playoffs. Shout out to Seth Hennigan. Shout out to Rock Taylor. Shout out to Blumpkin C. Mario Anderson Jr. at running back. You can't mess with Memphis. Memphis is a problem next year. Trust. We need Downs. He's back. Good or better. What up, Rico? Hope everything's good. Hey, what up, E-Money? Shout out to E-Money. Hey, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys like the show. This is my first time doing it like this with all the different fade-in and scenes. I hope it worked out. Sorry it was lagging at the beginning. We'll fix that. Thank you guys for being here. Remember, your friends don't know, but Rico knows. We're blessed, y'all. Peace.
When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
Oh, I thought the beast had wandered off.
You're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you come out on top.
Let me infiltrate the beat, concentrate the heat. If you ain't on my level, fuck it, let me be. I'll be going till it's all in motion, talking killing rappers, then I hit my quota. And my train of thought is more a locomotive, talking reason for it, I got locomotives. Used to be on a revenge tip, on a stun on my ex and a friend's tip. I was Spider-Man whipping the black suit, I was powerful but almost lost Luke. Blurring the line between human and artist, try not to change but I swear it's the hardest. I swear when you're up they turn you to a target. Home was a trip, all I did when I'm talking. So, what it take to be an icon? All in your desktop, so I just might already be one. My me with the label, it feels on the table one sign, but I'm down for a free lunch. Just speaking my heat-seeking missiles of hits, but other than me, I see no heat exists. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a Cold War, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, 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 green. I'm about to go green, 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 green. I'm about to go green, 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 green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green. I might begin making a feature Iraq. Cause when I hit your beat, I turn shit to Iraq. Dropping bombs like I'm cursing you out. This your house, then I'm kicking you out. Quiet as a mouse, came in the game, not a word is out that I've been lighting the flame. Shit is potent, don't you know it? I've been flowing, steady growing till they know the name. Saw it ahead of time, knew that I'd get to my losing myself in the view that some with no pain. I swear I'm all about peace, I'm a positive person. Wasn't always like that, you know it took me some learning. They asked me how I push a positive light, how I keep my composure through internal fights when addressing the mic through these dark nights. Where the Bruce Wayne, what a trick be. Here's some truth that I'll let free, Bruce Banner of rap if you ask me. When my will to win and the track meet, the secret is I'm always angry. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a Cold War, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, green, green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back.